to apply, I think is ultimately flawed, and that is why I'll be voting against. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Adrian Rurawhe.
Tēnā koe te māngai o te whare, o tira tēnā tātou katoa. Sir, it's a pleasure to take a call on the Youth Employment Training and Education Bill, and I congratulate Derek Ball for bringing this bill to the House. I think that I can share with the House that as I've travelled around my electorate, always youth unemployment is within the top 5 issues that people talk to me about all the time. And having 90,000 young people not in any training, employment or education is an indictment on this national government. And actually, I believe that the Parliament needs to do something constructive about it, and that's why I support this bill. I support it also because we need to be creating new conversations around how we can support communities to support their young people. Now, I haven't heard one single compelling reason why the national government is not supporting this bill, because we need to have a new look at how we are focusing on young people. And, sir, I believe that we're not doing enough in this country, and that's why this bill, although, yes, maybe it's not perfect, but I believe there's a sufficient detail within this to go to a select committee that could benefit from that process, and most importantly, to let the people have their say on this bill. And if there are issues that people have, then they can be addressed, I'm certain. I'm certain that if the Parliament works constructively together, then we can actually address the issue of so many young people disengaged. We have a looming problem in this country because of that. There are dire consequences for inaction, and that will be the legacy of the national government if they do continue to do nothing about it, with a Prime Minister that refers to them as pretty damn hopeless. We need to address that. Sir, I believe that we can work through all of those issues. I believe that we need to invest now in those young people. And there were some points that have been brought up in this debate. For example, you're encouraging, or this bill encourages young people to leave school early. That's not the case, sir. The reality is that within those 90,000 young people, a significant young number of 15-year-olds in that number. And my comment on that is that we are not doing enough for those young people. This bill at least provides an avenue for some of them to address that issue. Sir, and I commend also Derek Ball because he's actually addressed it within the bill. This bill proposes to amend the Education Act and to address the issue that a young person of 15 years old that is part of this education and training will be considered to be as if they were in school. And so, my further comment to that is a far better option than having young people sitting at home doing nothing and not in any kind of education and training. So, sir, we simply cannot afford our country cannot afford to have so many young people disengaged from education. We have to do something about it. We have to do it now. As I have said, we are creating a legacy of dire consequences for the future. We've heard in this House people complaining about things like incarceration rates. Well, no, if we don't do anything about it, that is what we are consigning young people and their future to. We need to address it. We cannot sit idly by. Our future depends upon it, our collective future in New Zealand, and I say to the young people of this country, you deserve much, much better. Kia ora.
Speaker.
I call Alistair Scott.
Mr. Speaker, I had a very sort of unusual